You know what I learned recently? The plugs on some of these cords, actually on most of them, if you notice, they kind of have this metallic look like it's just steel. Well, most of the time it's not just steel. It's actually brass. I don't know if you can see that really well or not, but there's actually brass in there. Let's see if I can show you another one. Like this one here, it doesn't have brass in it. But this one does. So there's definitely a different color. You can see the yellowish brass color underneath, so we know for a fact this has brass in it. It's like a nickel coating or like a zinc or a nickel coating. Let's see. Yep. This one's made of brass too. I don't know. I hope you guys can see that. Let's see. Probably not. Plug experiment, number 1. Let's see if we can get that out of there, huh? Get those brass pieces out of there. We'll test the feasibility of how easy or how hard it really is. And this is just to test the feasibility, guys, just to see what it would take to actually get this out. I don't want to get it all. I don't want just a little piece of it either. Okay, so that little bit right there is the actual... Oh, okay. So that's the wire. Okay. I bet some scrappers are out there, they're like, what in the royal frig is he doing? I just lost it. Ah! Anyway. I'll tell you what the royal frick I'm doing. I'm making money. There's a lot of controversy on whether one should micro scrap or not. I'm going to kind of put it in a way that made sense to me, and that made me ultimately decide to start doing it. Whenever you're out scrapping and you're getting your iron and you're building up your copper, your aluminum, and your brass piles to take to the scrapyard, that's your dollars. That's your bills right there. And that helps you pay your bills, right? If that's your dollars, your micro scrap is the change. Is your change. So your change, like, say you go to the store and you get yourself something to eat and it costs, I don't know, $2.65. Well, that leaves you 35 cents change, right? So you put that in your pocket and you take it home. Well, what do you do with the change? You put it in a jar, or if you're anything like me, you put it in a jar and you save it for your rainy day. Micro scrapping really is no different. If you've got the time to do it, you just simply do it and you put it, you put it in a bowl or a mason jar or whatever, and you start saving, and someday you'll have enough to be able to cash in on it and actually get some money. Brass. So, I don't know, it took me maybe, of course I was gabbing, so it took me maybe 5 minutes to actually get that out. Where'd that other one go? This piece is actually brass too. Let me grab my handy dandy razor. Let's see. I've got 2 pieces of brass here now. It depends on how much time you have on your hands. I mean, I'm always telling people, if you get time to sit there and watch TV, You've got time to sit there and do this and watch TV. And the only difference is you're making a little money. Now, it's not minimum wage. I mean, I wouldn't do this full time or anything like that, but, you know, there's something to be said for micro scrapping. I mean, why take all the big stuff without processing the little stuff too? You're bound to have days where you're bored or don't have anything to do, right? So, anyway, so that's one. Let me grab another. Let's see. So for some people, this may be worth it. For others, they're going to be like, no freaking way. And I understand. I get it. It's not for everyone. But it is a way to make money. Brass. And actually, I didn't pull all of it out. What I did was I just kind of twisted it. And it took that little bit at the end off where it bit into the copper. So I think that's actually a good practice. It adds up. I mean, you know, like I said, if you get nothing better to do, go for it. I mean, this is micro scrapping. I mean, scrap yards they'll give you a certain amount per pound for it because they know that there's brass in those plugs, but there's an awful lot of plastic that comes with them. I mean, what would you rather bring to them? A 5-gallon bucket full of these plugs or a 5-gallon bucket chuck full of the brass, just the brass? It would take a little longer to get, but hey, you know. There. I've actually gotten into a nice rhythm.
Why didn't you tell me my face is marked up? You're not thinking, that's what I'm doing.
Brass.
Boys. No talking.
Now again, this isn't for everybody, but it is something to do. And eventually, there's going to be a decent amount when, you know, when you fill up a bucket. Oh yeah, it lasts a little bit.
Keep positive. The most important thing is this driver cloud, and it's okay, so everything's okay. Just gotta wait for the right time, guys, and we're gonna sell this revolving controls. Even ready, Rick. I'm thinking of yourself.
Oh yeah.
Let's just sell it.
Some of these plugs have brass and a nice little copper spool. Gotta love that. Ooh. Do you guys ever wonder what's on the inside of these little power packs for a computer? So from there out was the copper cord, and then you get the little plug-in thingy, and that goes to the computer. Anyway, let's go see what's inside. Shall we? Let's see what's inside. Oh my. Well, get some aluminum here, some copper right there. Nice, decent sized transformer. I think those 3 pieces right here are brass. Not 100% sure. I'll have to scrape them just to be sure. And there's a little bit more copper underneath the aluminum. So 2 pieces of aluminum, a transformer, some copper windings here and there. Not too shabby. I've always wanted to know. I figured you might too.
Grease films, even though I have
So you get brass here, and then you've got a nice little transformer there. So pretty. Who let the plugs out? 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 Ha ha ha. Ooh, pretty. More aluminum. Transformer. Some copper spools. So pretty. And I think that's brass on the inside there as well. Not 100% sure, but like before, I'll scrape it and I'll see if it is or not. Not too shabby. Let's see. So pretty. So pretty. Woo! This one's got all sorts of metal. Ooh. That's a nice little copper spool there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a transformer in there. Some copper. Awesome. Some more copper. Sweet. I've always wanted to know what's on the inside of them. And today we found out. There's about 9 or 10 plugs worth of nickel or zinc plated brass in there. I mean, realistically, it took me probably 20 minutes, if that, to do that. Just sitting here watching TV, putting them in there. And it's going to add up. That's my plug for my channel and my plug for my video. I will see you guys on the next one. This week's small YouTube channel recommendation is Recycle Dude. Recycle Dude is a fellow scrapper that scraps all sorts of stuff, anywhere from the big stuff right down to e-waste and micro scrapping. Plus, he's got a nifty and catchy intro song. Please support Recycle Dude by clicking in the description below, going to his channel, checking out a few videos, and subscribing, because you guessed it, Recycle Dude has skills. I hope you've enjoyed my content. If you have, great! Let me divert your attention over to this big red subscribe button on the side here. Already a subscriber? That's awesome, and I greatly appreciate it. Please feel free to click on that little bell to get notifications when I create a new video.